Studies show that it's better for the children to have more models, right?
Exactly.
Right.
And if I'm in a
Makes sense.
classroom full of white teachers or school full of white, nothing wrong with that, but my child's black, I mean, I would like to see some connection. There is something that is valid with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even for females, girls have with other girls.
Whatever.
Same thing with men.
I mean, it isn't always necessarily true, but definitely I would think that it's another criteria.
Because race matters in this country. We can't have a country that was built on it, literally, and says we're going to use slavery to build the country. Say that these people are not human. They're not entitled to the same benefits that we're giving the white people at the time. And then years later say, you know what, forget about all that. We have an equal society. There's lawsuits all over the country, EEOC. You know, all of these things are real. You have people.
Let me ask you something, Wayne. Is there ever going to be a time, because this country was founded on slavery, is there ever going to be a time where people in the black community that came from the enslaved people feel like race isn't and doesn't have to always be a factor in society?
I think as long as you have people who have idiosyncrasies, let's face it, we have people have problem with gays. We have people have problems with mixed relationships, quote, black and Asian, etc., or white and Asian. There's something about white supremacy. That's what that all falls under.
But not every American's a white supremacist,
No,
Wayne.
I'm not. See, that's the problem. It isn't that every white person is white supremacist. However, they exist and they influence in different places. And that's what the challenge is, being able to implement those problems. There are people who can have a bias, and you can go on and buy it, and they just don't like it. But if they have the ability to not hire you, which is historic, the Civil Rights Act, what we're talking about, that's why they had to have the Civil Rights Act. That's why if we didn't have that, it wasn't happening. They were not treating us the same, and that's why we had to have that Civil Rights Act from the government.
Anthony from Westport, you're on the air. We're chatting with Wayne Winston. You know what we do on Wednesdays. We mix it up because the world is not just black and white, but black and white is important as well. So, Anthony, hi. What have you got to say today? Hello.
When I was in elementary school in the late 60s, I lived in a neighborhood in Westport with Jewish people, Italian people, Irish people. All was well. Well, a family moved in. The woman appeared to be white. The man was black. The children were black. And it was horrendous. People wrote on their fence, and go home. All these horrible things. They had to move. This is the late 60s. They had to move. I think we're taking backward steps to that kind of belief and behavior, and I think it's atrocious.
Thank you, Anthony, for the call. Go ahead.
Thank you, Anthony. I think you put it right there exactly what we're saying. Those people exist. And quite frankly, white supremacist groups exist, and they label themselves as that. And you look at their bylaws, their backgrounds, you could search them on Google. They tell you what they're about. They believe in racial separation, etc.
We're going to be right back. We're on the air with Wayne Winston. We're talking about diversity mandates. We're talking about the Trump's attitude toward Harriet Tubman and the question of race in our society in terms of preferences, in terms of how we think about race from history moving onward. You're welcome to be part of the conversation. 203-333-9422. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Lisa Wexler Show on WICC 600 AM and 107.3 FM. And keep listening to Lisa's podcast. Subscribe today.
Going to the vet is a stressful experience. If your dog is like mine, he's quaking under the furniture while you're waiting. Meanwhile, you're missing work just to be seen during office hours. Luckily for us, we have Dr. Jeffrey K., the visiting veterinarian in our neighborhood. Dr. K comes to your house, answers the phone himself 7 days a week all year long, has over 30 years experience caring for dogs and cats, and for sick visits, vaccinations, end-of-life care, and great diagnostics, Dr. K is there for you. If you have more than one pet, Dr. K only charges for one house call, and his fees are surprisingly reasonable. Most importantly, Dr. K answers the phone after 5, meaning that you aren't forced to go to an emergency vet clinic just because your regular vet is closed. For old-fashioned personal service and top-quality veterinary care, call Dr. Jeffrey K. the visiting veterinarian at 203-856-9900. That's 203-856-9900, because you and your pet deserve the best.
Our financial system is cracking under pressure. Your retirement is at risk. Take control now. Lear Capital is offering a free Sky High Silver Report and Precious Metals IRA guide at BetterNestEgg.com. Don't leave your future to chance. Go to BetterNestEgg.com.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-810-3588. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-810-3588. 800-810-3588. 800-810-3588.
Back to the news and talk. Thanks to Smart MLS. Smart sellers ask, is my home on Smart MLS? The voice of Connecticut. WICC 695.9. It's the Lisa Wexler Show.
And welcome back to the Lisa Wexler Show at 9 minutes before the hour. Wayne Winston joins us every single week, and we talk about whatever we want to talk about, not just black and white. But diversity is very, very much in the news. There's another story today, Wayne, that is part of our news prep. And, I'd like to hear what you have to think about it. Mark Fitch reports, this is a crazy story. And it focuses on a Dr. Jason Scavoto of Manchester High School, who testified both in person and in writing that he had been pushed out of a previous job and almost left the profession of teaching after he was accused, and this is his quote, of undermining the superintendent of schools by pursuing diversity work in the school. Mark Fitch does a very deep dive. I can't go into all the specifics, but here's the bottom line. Bottom line is that this particular person, Jason Scavoto, testified before the Labor Committee that he had to file a Title IX complaint against the superintendent when he accused me of, quote, talking about my weird religious beliefs during class, and then issued me written discipline as directed by the superintendent, including a formal disciplinary letter in my file, blah, blah, blah. He was testifying in support of Senate Bill 1371. And the bill, and this is important, would apply just cause standards to teacher terminations. Supporters of the bill arguing it will protect teachers from being terminated for political reasons, like exercising their free speech rights that are then amplified on social media. And Scavoto's stated experience appeared to be the perfect example of politicized discipline. In fact, Inside Investigator highlighted his testimony to illustrate the point. However, upon further investigation, Mark Fitch said, there's nothing in Scavoto's records from his time as an English teacher at Ellington Public Schools that supports any of the claims that he made in his testimony before the committee. There's no letter of discipline. There's no record of a Title IX complaint. There's nothing. Now, Scavoto, in response to Fitch, says, he says something like, you won't be able to find any documentation. Everything was done behind closed doors. But Ellington says, I can confirm that no member of Ellington High School administration, including me, even drafted a letter of discipline at the direction of the superintendent or any other employee. And that Mr. Scavoto did not file a Title IX complaint of any kind against the superintendent. Therefore, there were no investigative findings, as there was never a complaint filed by Mr. Scavoto with my office. Anyway, the bottom line is this is a snafu. This is what's going on in Manchester. But the reason it reached Connecticut Insider, Mark Fitch, is because he's such a diligent reporter that when he highlighted someone's testimony before the Labor Committee, which may make a very big difference in how the Labor Committee votes, something about it must have really irked him, and he decided to go back and confirm that what this witness was saying was true. And now he finds out it wasn't true.
Well, I'm glad he went and did it. I mean,
I am too.
When you make statements like that,
yeah, you're right.
It's critical to know the truth.
Yes.
And,
Wayne,
you know,
we agree.
you can't victimize someone because whatever happened, and I don't know what it was.
No.
I mean, I think we still don't know what it was. And to blame it on something that it wasn't is a problem because there are enough people who are victimized by interpretation in the wrong way. So this
there are
makes it a
enough
problem.
real stories of real letters,
Yes.
of real discipline.
Yes.
And when you make it
Yes.
up, it's a good point you raise, Wayne. You undermine the legitimate complaints of other people.
We should have someone from the EEOC come on. They will really freak you out with the stuff that they get
Tell me.
from employers.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Oh, man,
Oh, yeah,
employers'
but it's
backgrounds, all that
confidential.
stuff.
Well, maybe they can talk about it without names.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just cases
Yeah.
that are just plain absurd.
Yeah.
Even with the NACP, we had some people who got fired from People's Savings Bank for going on vacation, and they had already sent them the information. It was crazy. And there was a guy there who,
Why would that come to the NAACP?
because they did recommend, no, excuse me, they followed a procedure to go on vacation. Their supervisor denied it. And it turns out that the only people that they were really not having a problem with were, well, excuse me, the ones that had a problem were the black ones. The white ones, there was no problem whatsoever. They would just tell them, I'm going on vacation next week. By the time you go to forensics, talking to people, et cetera, it was even there in paper. She was crazy enough to type stuff back and forth. So the stuff was there, and the ladies knew about it. So they brought it there. It became a racial issue. People had to hire them back because they wound up firing them because they said you broke the rules. So there's crazy people out there, and they would have no job.
I want to just bring this is a different conversation, Wayne. Have you been apprised about the recent shooting in Bridgeport about
Yes.
that boy named Dylan?
Yes.
Did you see the aftermath of that story is that one of Dylan's supporters was also arrested because on social media he made pretty obvious threats against the police officer.
Oh, man. It's and that's unfortunate.
He wrote, "Somebody should die with a badge."
That's not good. That's
His name is Joe Thompson, known as a hip hop artist, Joe Grits. Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's unfortunate, and again, I
Not
haven't.
Dylan. His name is Daishan Best.
Daishan,
Sorry,
yes, I was about to say.
Sorry.
But Daishan was well known in the community. He was a guy who had made it out, so to speak. He had had some
Really?
trouble in his past. Yes, he had moved down south. He came up here for a funeral, and during that short time he was here, that's how this whole calamity happened.
Something
because-
happened at the funeral, some kind of fight that the police were called.
Yeah, and actually someone said that a guy in a truck matching the description of his truck had a gun. So the police go and they find him because there was commotion around after the repast.
But they claim that they claim that when he was shot, there was a gun next to him.
Yeah.
That there was a gun in his right hand, is what the police are claiming.
There's an actual video that's out that pretty much shows Daishan getting out of the car, and he has a bottle of alcohol, which
And then
is
he
fine.
throws that away.
He's a passenger. And when he starts running, he's got it with him. He drops the bottle along the way.
Right, and then what? What's in his right hand?
He
though?
turns nothing at that point. So the officer says, I'm going to pat you down, and if it's nothing, then, we should let you go. And then he just takes off running. It's straight in the video that anyone can see on all of the media stations.
And so he's shot in the back.
So he decides to run, and he runs far enough away around the corner behind a gas station there.
Okay.
And that's when the shooting happens, and you can see a gun, first a taser, and then by the time you see the cop's view from the body cam, you realize it's a gun, and you shoot, bang, bang, but you can't really tell from that angle.
What is in his hand?
Well, you can see him make a movement towards something.
Oh, you do?
You see him make a movement.
Okay.
And
I need to see the
and they
video.
make this circle about it. They brighten it a little bit, and it's
Right.
like, this is what we believe was in there.
Okay.
And as a felon, you can't have, a gun.
He's a former felon.
Yeah, former felon. And when you watch it, and the people that know him, it's like, hey, the dude was finally sorted out, and I'm sure he knew he wasn't supposed to have a gun. And in that moment, it looks like the coroner says that it was ruled a homicide. So
We're going to have to follow up
that's
on
where
that
we're at.
story.
Yes.
I know Chief Porter wants the people of Bridgeport to continue to have faith in the
Yes.
police force.
There is a big meeting tonight.
Are you going to go?
Absolutely.
then you can report on it for us, Wayne. Thank you very much. Wayne Whitson on the Lisa
Thanks
Wexler
for the
Show.
calls,
Paul
everybody.
Pacelli up 2 to 6. The download coming up next. We'll be back behind the mic tomorrow.
WICC Bridgeport, WFOX Southport, WEBE HD2 Westport, WPLR HD2 New Haven, locally owned by Connoisseur Media.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Steel.
I'm Steve Kathan. President Trump says on social media, be cool, as his sweeping tariffs take hold and China and the European Union respond with retaliatory tariffs. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent suggested to the American Bankers Association that agreements can still be worked out.
At the end of the day, we can probably reach a deal with our allies, with the other countries that have been long-term, they've been good military allies, and then we can approach China as a group.
And if other countries cut deals with China?
That would be cutting your own throat.
There may be a trade war with China, but Defense Secretary Hegseth, speaking in Panama, noted Beijing's increasing military might.
War with China is certainly not inevitable. We do not seek it in any form.
The American Civil Liberties Union in federal court today looking to try to stop the Trump administration from using an 18th century law to deport undocumented migrants. Legal analyst Jessica Levinson.
The government is going to argue that they do, in fact, have the power to use the Alien Enemies Act, and that act does not require the same amount of process as, for instance, the Immigration and Nationality Act.
The death toll has now risen to at least 124 in the roof collapse at a club in the Dominican Republic. CBS's Christian Benavides is in Santo Domingo.
I just spoke to the Minister of Health for the Dominican Republic. He told me that there's currently a list of about 80 people that are thought to be unaccounted for. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're buried under the rubble, but it does mean that they have family members out here actively looking for them.
New information about the man charged with trying to assassinate Donald Trump last September.
Ryan Routh allegedly tried to buy a rocket-propelled grenade or stinger from someone he believed to be a Ukrainian with access to military weapons. Prosecutors say Routh told the Ukrainian, "I need equipment so that Trump cannot get elected." Routh also allegedly tried to buy a .50 caliber rifle, a more powerful version than the one he had at the golf course, but his contact couldn't find him one. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
A Senate committee is considering billionaire spacewalker Jared Isaacman's nomination to head up NASA.
We will prioritize sending American astronauts to Mars, and along the way, we will inevitably have the capabilities to return to the moon and determine the scientific, economic, and national security benefits for maintaining a presence on the lunar surface.
Wall Street, right now the Dow is down 153 points. The S&P is off 6, and the Nasdaq's trading higher. This is CBS News.
Steel walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-922-1284. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-922-1284. 800-922-1284. 800-922-1284.
Repair your car with confidence at Sono Collision, Fairfield County's premier destination for top-notch collision repairs. Our expert team uses state-of-the-art equipment to restore your vehicle to pre-loss perfection. We prioritize your family's safety when it comes to fixing your car. Trust the care and precision of Sono Collision, because after a collision, you deserve quality repairs and peace of mind. Visit us today at sonocollision.com. That's sonocollision.com. Your car will thank you.
I'm Barbara from Trumbull, and I've used Steve Basso Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning since 2012 when he diagnosed the source of a carbon monoxide problem when no one else could. I use him for maintenance and emergency situations for that reason. He has always been able to fix any problem in my home. There's no one better than Steve Basso.
Looking for a reliable plumbing or HVAC company? Steve Basso Plumbing, Heating, and AC has proven customer satisfaction since 1974. Go to BassoPHAC.com. That's BassoPHAC.com.
Chances are this has happened to you. You're driving in the rain and then... yeah, you meant to get those wipers replaced, but it was another one of those things you just let go, and then it was too late. Planning for retirement is a lot like those wipers. If you don't plan ahead, well, this happens. David Gagnon has been helping people plan ahead for retirement for over 3 decades. He can help you with financial surprises that pop up, like taxes on your Social Security check, sky-high Medicare premiums, income that doesn't keep up with inflation, and of course, losing money in a market downturn. Call David today for a free consultation. 203-872-0009. That's 203-872-0009. And make sure your retirement works like this and not like this. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance, including annuities. Licensed in Connecticut.
Your morning starts with a fresh cup of coffee and total peace of mind. Because with Property Protection Consulting, your home or office is secured and backed by a local company. From single camera setups to full-scale security, we customize your protection because we know how valuable your safety is. Whether you're protecting your livelihood or the ones that matter to you most. For a complimentary evaluation on your home or office, visit ppcalarms.com because real security starts with real protection.
Need the perfect flowers for any occasion? Trust Cityline Florist, Trumbull's local florist for 108 years and 4 generations. From birthdays to anniversaries, celebrations to just because, Cityline Florist delivers stunning, high-quality flowers, same day, anywhere in the country. Stop by their beautiful gift shop and greenhouse at 2978 Nichols Avenue in Trumbull, or order online at citylineflorist.com. Cityline Florist, making life's moments bloom since 1917.
Ready for a beautiful smile but worried about the price? Find out why Southern Connecticut chooses Downtown Dental for the best quality dental work at the lowest price guaranteed. Are you considering Invisalign or veneers? Go to downtowndentalct.com and schedule a consultation and personalized treatment plan. For Invisalign and veneers, get the best quality at the guaranteed lowest price. Call Downtown Dental with offices in Norwalk, Bridgeport, and West Haven. DowntownDentalCT.com.
Professor, how did you crack where these big prizes come from on the multiplier scratch tickets?
Greta and I had a lot of coffee.
We discovered the prizes jumped by 5, 20, 50, and even 100 times.
$200,000 in a single scratch.
Professor, so the big question, who solved it?
I did.
Play the new multiplier scratch tickets from the Connecticut Lottery. Multiply your wins and maybe enjoy your own eureka moment.
Overall odds by game: 5x, 1 in 4.25, 20x, 1 in 4.06, 50x, 1 in 3.72, 100x, 1 in 3.55. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling helpline. Call 888-789-7777.
WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut. Weather update.
A sunny sky through this afternoon with a high in the upper 40s. Partly cloudy this evening and overnight with a low near 32. Partly sunny tomorrow. A few scattered showers arriving in the afternoon with a high near 50. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
WICC 695.9, Voice of Connecticut local news update.
The family of a man who was shot and killed by Bridgeport police last week claims he was holding a vape pen when he was shot, not a gun. Police say Deshaun Best pulled a gun before he was shot in the back by a city officer, and he later died at the hospital. The victim's friend, Matthew Purdy, was driving the vehicle Best exited and spoke with WTNH-TV News 8.
I'm telling the officer, he don't got no gun. He's trying to convince me that's why he's running. No.
Best's niece, Tatiana Barrett, also spoke with News 8.
In my mind, I think he ran. He was inebriated. He had a gallon of Remy.
Police reported soon after the shooting that a